So I'm pretty sure I've only heard of like one Texas death match, and didn't David Arquette like almost die?
Did you just talk about
Good
David Arquette?
Lord.
Did you bring David Arquette into a wrestling podcast?
I said, didn't he almost die? Like,
So
and even beat him. Sorry to say, but he's a legend. But to be the best, you must beat the best, you know. And I feel like I can beat him. So Chavo, I'm calling you out. I said, come on.
There it is. Chavo Guerrero, right there. You heard it. Emilio Guzman calling you out, and I'm not gonna lie, love Chavo to death, but Team Emilio right here. That's where I have to go.
yeah. So
All right, so it looks like we're having a couple of issues.
Oh my gosh! All right,
There we
Yeah,
go.
there
Now
we
we
go.
got some.
told you, I'm
sound.
adulting better than him already.
all right, Hunter, say ass.
What?
Say ass.
No.
You're an adult. Come on, don't be scared.
You're an adult. You can say ass now.
No.
See, he's been a good boy. Having the Macho Man Chris Wolf out there was very good for me. There was something that I really wish Little Guapo could have been there for, because it's a throwback, in my opinion, to the Attitude Era days. Because said trash can that was being used to beat upon Logan Knight got placed on Logan Knight. And
He
they
was
were
in the
taking
trash can.
turns
Just
beating him up in the trash can, and it was great.
that's like definitely.
I mean, beat him down and did so ugly.
Yeah, it did him so bad that he came home after one BCW outing and was like, Emilio Guzman, that's my man. Till today, wearing a War Chief shirt. So you saw how messed up.
Emilio, I got love for you, bro, but it's a cool shirt.
You see how messed up that walloping was. But in the chat, we have the official tagline for Tornado Slam. So y'all use that information. Go get you a ticket.
It'll be out on our socials. It's on Squared Circle Pro's socials as well.
We will be there.
We will be there.
We will be there. You will not.
We will be there. You're going to be in Florida with doing Mickey Mouse stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
So are we seeing a shift to all your heavyweight stuff on Raw and your high flying luchador
Big
stuff
time.
on SmackDown?
I can tell you that is charcuterie because Ricochet is on Raw. Okay.
It's not shark.
That is a bunch of shark.
All right.
Well, yeah. With that, we're at.
What you think?
So The Rock is on Buddy's list. The Rock is on my list. The Rock is on your list. The Rock is on our chat's list. The real question that we need to ask the Not Your Average Mark Wrestling podcast is, can any of us here smell what The Rock is
It
cooking?
doesn't matter if you.
Oh my goodness, it doesn't.
But it's things like that. It doesn't matter.
We need to talk about that.
Tickle.
That's how the saying goes.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, tickle, tickle. I think, Rick, if be concerned if he ever comes to you talking about tickle, tickle. Just,
Hey,
I don't.
all right.
I'm not sure what's going on there.
At the hour and a half mark, I think we've gotten a little.
Before we get into it, there's been a little controversy, I've come to find out, so I'm going to have to address it real quick. Apparently, last week I said some things about our new WWE the United States champion Logan Paul that upset some people. So I'm going to set the record straight. Logan Paul as a guy, not a fan. As a wrestler, I can honestly say, and I've said it before, he hasn't had a match yet that hasn't been just an absolute banger. So as a wrestler, I've got respect for the guy. Like, I don't understand. He's got all this stuff going on, and
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the fifth and final night of our 5-night run-up to the Squared Circle Pro Peace is for Quitters show. Tomorrow night, right here in Lubbock, Texas, Jake's Back Room. Man, what a week it's been. We've had Downfall Cathedral talking with us. We've had Ryan Justice, Chris Watson. Last night we had the one and only Sam Stackhouse. It has been a great run-up so far. Before we get started, I want to say big shout out and thank you to Ross and the boys from Labor 12 for our intro music. Track's called Head Rush. Album's called Monsters. Make sure you're checking that out. Want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We've got Josh, Mikey. We've got Wildcard out here. Everybody ready for a good show, and that's exactly what we're going to give you. This particular show, I can't lie. I am stoked. It's going to be our first Gauntlet Armageddon, so I'm looking forward to that. And normally, for the majority of this week, I've run through the card and then brought in our special guest, but we're going to change that up tonight. We're going to bring in our special guest here in just a minute. He is the man that makes all of this happen. The one, the only, the man himself, Rick Elsey, joining us on the show tonight. Rick, what's up, brother?
Hey, guys. How you doing? How you doing?
Glad to have you on the show. Man, we've been talking all week about Pieces for Quitters. What a stacked card this is.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit going on. Those of you that follow along know that last March, I had an incident happen to me that kind of had me step away from the day-to-day as far as the show. TJ Mundell has been the interim GM for the majority of the year. I of course, am involved, and I do help out with some of the decision-making backstage. But for the most part this year, I've been doing overreaching, bigger picture things. And most of this card, most of these matches are TJ's. He has put most of this together. And so while I do know, some of the in and out of what's going on, there's a lot about this show that I'm excited to see how it unfolds as well, because I was not involved in the actual run up to it. So there's a lot to unfold and unpack.
Well, and before we get into this card, I wanted to ask, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things I wanted to ask you about was, what has it been like stepping away and letting TJ in there, TJ making the matches like you're talking about? What has that been like for you?
Honestly, it has been refreshing to, kind of chill on show day and know that I'm not the object of everybody's anger. But at the same time, it can be frustrating when I see something unfolding that, how would I have handled this? A lot of people were really taken aback by TJ's decision to vacate the championship. Mm-hmm. Now, that was something that a lot of our fans didn't agree with. That was something that a lot of the wrestlers didn't agree with. But that was TJ's decision. And so, and I applaud him for having the balls to make that kind of a sweeping decision. And in doing so, it has set up Gauntlet Armageddon to mean more than it's ever meant before. So, there's pros and cons to everything, but, a little bit of frustration here and there, but I'm not going to lie. Watching him deal with the things that used to frustrate me is kind of entertaining.
I can imagine it would be. And for those of you that haven't had the opportunity to see the difference in Rick between Rick running the show and TJ running the show, when Rick runs the show, there's this guy that shows up that we like to call Two Drink Rick, and it's something to see.
Yeah.
So let's get into this card. We've been talking about it all week and couldn't be more excited about it. The first match I've got listed here is, of course, Hatebreed Gino Rivera versus Chris Watson. Heck yeah, iPay-per-view title match.
We got no DQs, we got no countouts, we got no time limits, and we've got a long history here. So tell me where you're at on this match.
Well, Gino and Chris do have a long history. They had a very heated feud last year that kind of culminated with the tar and feather match. And Gino won that. Watson found himself covered in tar and feathers and embarrassed and taken aback. And that led to Watson reassessing his life values and goals. And we got, in my opinion, we got a better Watson because of it, because he is easily one of the best guys we have as far as the in-ring. And with him now focused on his goals instead of just living to piss people off, I think that Watson has had a better run up this year. And, he's had Gino's number now for a little bit, which, you'd figure you would get somebody's number after the amount of matches that they've had or been involved in. You tend to get to know somebody. And anticipate what they're doing. Gino, ever since he put the focus on himself and stole the pay-per-view championship from Draven Reeves, and he stole that belt, and everybody saw it last year. And now he's had it. Every single decision that has been involved in this championship since Gino had it has been controversial and disputed. And so now we've got a situation where there's no Paul of Fate at ringside. There's no Fate International to back him up. There's no DQ. There's no count out. There's no time limit. At this point, Gino has to beat Chris with his God-given ability. And we all know that Gino has that capability. We know he's completely able to compete at the highest level. But for some reason, the last year and few months, Gino has just enjoyed skating by, and I don't believe this time he's going to be able to do that. So Chris Watson has a real good chance of walking out with the championship. This is his match to lose.
Well, and of course, we had him on the show Wednesday talking about this match, and he said something that, of course, meant a lot to me, meant a lot to the podcast, to the people watching. He said that's what it's about. He's going to win this match, and he's going to do it for me, and he's going to do it for, the podcast, and he's going to do it for the people listening. He's going to do it for all the people that have gotten tired of seeing Gino find a way out of every match. So it's going to be fun to watch this. And of course, he made it clear, something that I hadn't thought about until he brought it up, in the fact that this is no DQ match. Falls count anywhere. So this very well could make its way outside the ring.
Yes, they're literally the only rule of thumb in this match is that the win has to come by pinfall or submission, and that's it. Everything else is out the window. And so I think that, like I said, every advantage Gino has had up to now is done. And this is Chris Watson's match to lose.
Well, and of course, we're behind Chris Watson. I said it on the podcast Wednesday. I'm usually not one to say, well, this person's going to win this match, but I really want to see Chris win this one, if nothing else, just so I can see Gino's face when he loses the title. It sounds bad, but that's where I'm at with it.
Well, I think you're probably not alone.
Well, the next match that we have here, you've got a little bit of a personal stance in this one as well. Jason Zane and Manimal. They've been just laying waste to people right and left. And I mean,
who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? I was one of the first. Yeah. And they're the reason why I'm not involved in the actual show day in front of the people. I kind of had my fill, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been beat down before. I've been jumped. I've been involved in matches where, I had personal stake involved, and I've stuck my nose in maybe where it didn't belong. I've had my share of beatings. That was the worst beating I've ever taken. And it threw me for a loop. And I've had to sit backstage and watch these guys run through people and toss people around. And this last time, they tried to go after Misty Marks.
Mhm.
And, TJ stepped in to stop it. Luckily for TJ, they did not beat him down too. But they wanted this match, and it's an open challenge. And they've called out the whole locker room, anybody that wants them. So, I mean, there's a lot of people backstage at SCP that I think could give the Manimal a run for his money. Manimal and Jason together, that's going to take a special person, because for all of his faults, and he has many, and I am not a fan of him personally, Jason Zane is very intelligent.
He is.
And now he has a man beast at his beck and call. And that makes him even more dangerous. And so whoever decides to take this challenge, that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a challenge, and we'll just have to see how it unfolds.
I'm interested to see who does take this challenge.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, and we've said it all week on the show, love him or hate him, Jason Zane is a ring technician. There's no question about that. And when you've got somebody the size of Manimal behind you to back you up, I have not been able to figure out who in that locker room is going to step up for this. I'm interested to see it personally. And tomorrow night, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to get to see who is going to answer that call.
And that, and that's the thing. That's the thing, man. It could be anybody. And there's a lot of people backstage. There's some people backstage that are unadvertised. So, I mean, we'll see. We've got surprises for the gauntlet. Maybe one of those surprises will step up. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just have to find out. I have been very far removed when it comes to this match. I'll be watching just like everybody else.
And, what I can tell you is who it won't be, and that's this guy. Not happening.
I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it.
Our next match on the list here, one that's going to be really, really fun to watch. It's Skylar Slice and the Rising Phoenix of Texas, Nova Phoenix. These two ladies, their style is so similar. It's like they know each other's moveset. It's move for move for move with these ladies. So this being a contendership match, this is the one match on the entire card that I can't say, well, I think this person's got the advantage, because I don't see an advantage.
These two women have had countless matches against one another through several promotions, several territories, several states. They know each other very well. When each of them came to SCP to basically help launch the women's division, they butted heads a couple of times. And the last time they butted heads, it was a double count out. And Skylar took some time off after that. So does Nova Phoenix have a little bit of an advantage coming into this match? Nova Phoenix had a championship match earlier this year that she lost. Skylar Slice was involved in a championship match at Birthiversary that she lost. Both of these women have something to prove. They both have a history. They have a rivalry. And they're both the kind of woman that, if you needed a woman to step up and knock somebody on their butt, these are the two that you'd grab.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, this is not going to be just an average wrestling match. I mean, yes, it's a women's contention match, and they're all gunning for the same goal, which is the SCP West Texas Women's Championship. But more so, this is going to be a fight, and it's going to be a fight between two women who know each other extremely well.
It is that, and it's going to be just that. It's going to be a fight. They know what's at stake. They're ready to go for it. And speaking of that SCP West Texas Women's Championship, that's the next match on on the list here, Misty Marks going against an opponent to be determined. So tell us a little bit about the determining factors on this opponent.
Well, okay. This is one of those situations that I've been kind of removed from. This is something that TJ's been working on. I've counseled a little bit here and there. I do know that there was a situation earlier this year, or just a few months ago. There was a situation where Gypsy Mac parted ways with our promotion, and she relinquished the championship. The championship went up in a match between Misty Marks and Anastasia Morningstar and Skylar Slice. It was a triple.
Mhm.
And the Divas of Destruction got involved. That's Raisa Clark and Olivia Vagos. And they got involved on behalf of Anastasia Morningstar. They screwed Skylar Slice out of her section of that match. And then Anastasia Morningstar beat Misty Marks. Unfortunately for Anastasia Morningstar, she had to have an emergency surgery on her knee, and that put her out of competition. So we got the belt back, and Misty Marks is the number one contender. And so she's going to have a match for the championship. The question is right now, what kind of match is it going to be? Who's going to be in it? We do have Skylar Slice and Nova Phoenix having a contention match. It could be one of them. We also have a returning Victoria Mosh on the show. She has not had a match announced. Is that because she's waiting in the wings to be a contender? We also have the debuting Stormy Renee, who is no stranger to championship gold in several promotions throughout the tri-state area. And so she's also scheduled to be there. Could she be part of this match? I will tell you that also, and they're not advertised, but I know that they're going to be there. Olivia Vagos and Raisa Clark will be in the building as well. So
Divas of Destruction going to be there. Okay.
There's a lot of girls in this building on Saturday night, tomorrow night. Any one of them could be challengers for Misty Marks. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. I will say one thing for the podcast tonight, that I do have one tiny bit of knowledge that I will go ahead and drop, that our special guest, Medusa, who will be at the event tomorrow for her book signing and her meet and greet. We have talked with her as well. We've let her weigh in because she knows championships. She knows women's wrestling. And she has some ideas of her own that have been taken into account. So we're just going to let this unfold. I will tell you that the decision about this match will be made at the opening of the pay-per-view. It will be the first thing out of the gate. We will talk about this, and the fans will know, everyone will know exactly what's going to happen. We'll all find out at the same time.
Which is awesome. That being said, make sure you get there early. Doors for this one, of course, at 5:30. The first match is at 6. So you want to make sure you're there in your seat so you can find out who it is that Misty Marks is going to be going against. And of course, we here at the podcast, pulling for Misty Marks, I know it's got to be frustrating for her. I mean, how do you prepare for an opponent you don't know who is?
No.
You have to prepare for the entire locker room.
She had 2 previous shots at the championship earlier this year involving when Gypsy Mac had the championship. And Misty came close both times. So that's got to be equally frustrating for her, knowing that this was her 3rd opportunity, and now she has no idea who she's facing.
I can't wait to see how that one turns out. I can't wait to see who it's going to be. You had made mention of the fact that Stormy Renee debuting. I've caught some hell through the week because the first time I saw her video package, my first thought was, okay, who brought their kid sister? I mean, she did the whole eye thing. I'm like, what the hell? And then I watched some of her film, and holy, she's good. You said, she's not unfamiliar with the gold. I mean, she's a hell of a wrestler.
At first glance, she has a very Taylor Swift quality about her.
She does.
And but yeah, I mean, look, she's one of several women that I've been talking to for a good while. I have been pursuing her for some time to join our women's division at SCP. I've done a lot of research on her. I've watched a lot of matches, and I knew when I finally got her to agree to come on board, I knew that we were going to have something special. And I can't wait for everybody who's never seen a Stormy Renee match to see her get in the ring at SCP.
It's going to be something special if her, if you go watch her on YouTube, if that speaks anything to what is going to happen at Squared Circle, then it's going to be something to see for sure. And you also mentioned Victoria Mosh's return. I love Victoria Mosh. I think she's awesome. It's a metalhead mosh pit every time she steps in the ring. So I can't wait to see who it is she's going against.
And I believe she is the current DWF or DFW champion for the women.
I believe you're right. I believe you're right in that. Now, I got to ask something. You may have noticed last night and tonight, I'm moving around a lot. Broke my chair. Broke my podcast chair. So it's uncomfortable as hell. So that's why I'm moving around so much. The damn chair's broken.
I understand.
So let's go from mystery opponent to mystery partner. We've of course got TJ Slater, Nate Collins going against the living proof Justin Taylor and his mystery partner. Now, we talked a little bit about this throughout the week, how this was set up after what was a banger match between Justin and Nate Collins. I mean, that match was awesome. TJ Slater comes in, starts putting the boots to Justin Taylor, and Nate comes in to help him. Everybody wondering why. Got a chance to see Nate Collins' promo regarding this, saying that they're ready to knock him down a few pegs, knock Justin off that pedestal of being the all-the-time good guy and all-the-time champion and everybody's favorite. There's any number of people that I could see standing up to be a partner to Justin. Interested to see who Justin would choose in this. So is there, what can you tell us regarding this match?
I found this to be very interesting how this unfolded. TJ Slater has kind of invaded West Texas wrestling over the last year. He's wrestled a handful of matches for BCW. He's wrestled a handful of matches for South Plains. He has just recently wrestled a handful of matches for Squared Circle Pro. And in the process, he has made an enemy of Justin Taylor. And, Justin was super excited about Nate Collins finally debuting for Squared Circle Pro. And they had a really good match. And it was shocking to me that, once TJ Slater interjected himself in the post-match festivities, so to speak, I was shocked that Nate Collins went along with it. But that speaks to another potentially larger issue. Were they in on it the entire time? Was this something that was premeditated? Was this something that just came about because Nate Collins got frustrated at a loss and saw the opportunity to take an advantage? We don't know the full story yet. All that we know is these guys have thrown down the gauntlet at Justin Taylor, and Justin has now been on the search for a partner. I've known Justin a long time, and I will say this about Justin Taylor. He is one of the most capable and resilient competitors that West Texas wrestling has ever seen. He has held gold in every promotion in West Texas. He's currently champion in 3 of them. And so Justin is a guy who not only is capable of handling his own business, he has a lot of connections. He's got a lot of friends. There's a lot of people in any locker room in West Texas that would step up to have Justin's back. So really what TJ Slater and Nate Collins have done is they've put a target on themselves. They've tried to put a target on Justin Taylor, but I think inadvertently they've put a target on themselves, because most everyone who knows Justin knows Justin is just one of the best people that you could possibly have. And he's giving, he's motivational, he's inspiring. And there are plenty of people, I believe, who would stand up ready to have that man's back. So I don't really think it's more about who Justin picks. It's more about how many people does Justin have to choose from.
Well, and I know one of them's in the chat right now. We've got wildcard Jeb Bingham in the chat. I have no doubt in my mind that if Justin said, "Hey Jeb, I got this match, I need some help," he'd step up in a heartbeat.
There would be far more people in our locker room that would be willing to step up and have Justin's back than would be willing to ignore it.
Absolutely. So
I
that's going
think
to be
TJ Slater and Nate Collins have really set themselves up for some disappointment here.
Well, and I agree with that, but at the same time, I mean, you can't deny TJ Slater's power. I mean, the man is an absolute beast, and Nate Collins he's so quick in moving around the ring. So whoever Justin picks, they've got their hands full.
I think that both of them are completely capable, and I think it took a lot of balls to do what they did. And, you know, they may have an idea and a plan of how they want to handle this. I don't think that they really thought it out.
Makes good sense. Well, moving from that one into our next one, and this is one that we've got Mikey in the chat saying if he were clear, he'd have Justin's back in this one. I'd pay to see that one too. Come on with it, Mikey. This next match has got some pretty deep implications in it. Cesar Torres and Emilio Guzman, loser must retire match. I've been watching the drama in Los Carnales unfold over the last few months, over the last year. And just when you think everything's going to be all right, they've got everything settled out, Emilio Guzman turns on the family, and that puts us where we're at now. Watched his promo, and he's not your friendly neighborhood Vato anymore. There's a sinister side to him, and he's going after Cesar's career.
Okay, here's where I got to jump in and do what I love to do, and that is say I told you so. Because I'm pretty sure that I was on this very podcast 2 months ago when I pointed out to everyone, I don't understand the amnesia that is going on with our fan base, but Emilio Guzman is responsible for this entire Los Carnales civil war. This all
I do remember you saying that.
And yet all these fans still want to hop on this whole friendly neighborhood Vato crap that he's spewing. And then what did we see at Birthiversary? Not only did he continue his issues with Caesar, but he threw JC Bravo under the bus, and then he told the fans off.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, well, it's about damn time that the real Emilio Guzman steps forward, because I've been saying it from day one.
I know. I do remember that. I do remember you being on the podcast saying that was the case, and I wanted so much for you to be wrong. I really did. You know, I dig Emilio. I dig his energy. I think it's great. But the minute he turned on Caesar, I mean, it was bad.
You know,
I mean, it was.
I think there's a larger issue here, because I think at the end of the day, Emilio is more interested in Emilio's future than he's interested in Los Carnales' future. And, you know, if you look around, is Cesar Torres making a ton of appearances at all these other shows? No, it's Emilio. And he's got new gear. He's singling himself out. Like, who didn't see this coming?
Well, and as Mikey says in the chat, he's become a bit more ruthless. And
Very
that
much
plays
so.
to his advantage. That plays to his advantage in this match. But at the same time, Cesar Torres knows what's at stake here, and he's no slouch. I mean, it's
No.
this is going to be a fight. It's not going to be a match. It's not going to be a brawl. This is going to be a straight out balls to the wall fight.
And it's a career. Careers are on the line.
Mhm.
So this is tough. There is a special guest referee for this match.
Really?
Yes, there is. I'm not going to reveal it here.
Ah,
You're going to have to be there at the show. It is a return of sorts,
okay.
but there is a special referee for the match. And I think that it will have far-reaching emotional implications for both members, actually all three members of Los Carnales.
Well, you heard it here. Like that's news to me. So you guys make sure you are here for this. This rivalry has, I mean, who hasn't fought with their brother before? Who hasn't fought, even if they're not blood brothers, if they're, I've got friends that are family to me, and who hasn't had that animosity at some point? But this goes so far beyond that. And then while I want to see Cesar just whoop the hell out of Emilio for what he did, the idea that one of these guys is done after this, the end of this match signals the end of one of these two's careers. Man, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a wild match. So moving on in the card here, and this is one that's had a lot. I've gotten a lot of questions about, and I'm hoping you'll shine a little more light on this. Veronica Vega, the young lady of La Migra, having an arm wrestling open challenge. Now, I put it out there that there have been some people who have said that she is La Migra arm candy, and she doesn't like that. She's very capable and wants to prove that. I do have to question, though, the idea of an arm wrestling open challenge.
I feel like it's very possible she was put up to this. Look, I've known Veronica for a long time. She is a product of Lubbock Pro Wrestling 101. Even though she is right now, I guess you could say, a valet for La Migra, she's part of the group. She's also a capable competitor.
Yes.
And she does interfere on behalf of her men. She puts
Often.
herself, in the forefront. I am not too terribly positive that this was exactly Veronica's sole idea. And I'm not so sure that this isn't La Migra's way of kind of throwing people off the beaten path. I'm not sure. I do know that she challenged anybody in the locker room. So we just went through the list of the women that are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing the list of the women that are there, I question her throwing out an arm wrestling challenge. So I don't know. I don't know. What I can say is that whatever she's thinking or whatever machinations are being thrown together behind the scenes, it is going to be the pre-show match.
Okay. So this is the first thing we're going to see.
It will be free on Facebook Live for Heck Yeah, on the Heck Yeah Radio page for Facebook. It will be there. And we'll have that on the pre-show. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
It will be that. And I'm glad you put it out there the way you did, because that's the other question I've been getting. Is this an open challenge to just the ladies? Is this an open challenge to anybody in the back? Is this an open challenge to anybody in the building?
I would think that, and I don't know, I guess I'd have to talk to TJ about it since he's the one who put, pinned the paper on it. I don't know if there are special provisions to state that it has to be a female or it has to be, from the women's roster. It does seem kind of ambiguous that it's just an arm wrestling challenge. I would hesitate to think that it'll be intergender of any kind. But who knows? One thing you can say about the events at Squared Circle Pro, you never really know what's going to happen.
That is no lie. Seraph in the chat saying it'd be funny if TJ Slater answered the arm wrestling challenge.
Well, there's another person backstage at the show who's kind of legendary. What if Medusa answered it?
Ooh, I'm about that. Medusa, if you're watching, if you're listening, there's an arm wrestling challenge that you should probably be a part of. I don't know if she's watching or listening, but that would be awesome. Moving on in this, because I want to make sure we keep everything in time here. Fatal 4-Way Tag Team bout. Of course, we had Downfall Cathedral on the show on Monday. They are ready. They are stoked, and they're looking at this as a hurdle. They're not looking at I'm ready to come to Squared Circle Pro on Saturday and win this match. They're ready to win the whole tournament, which is awesome. Of course, with them, you've got Island Rage, Baby Samoa, and Brian Rage Rivera. Got Los Crudos, Avon Axel in the sauce. And then, of course, as we've been talking about him, La Migra with Diablo Blanco and Charlie 50. And Gringo Loco and Veronica Vega because, they're going to stay backstage.
It's always a party when it comes to La Migra. Right now, our tag team titles are vacant.
Right.
And so what we've chosen to do is we're going to level up the tag team championships, and the new belts will be ready by Birthiversary next year. And they will be upgraded to the West Texas Tag Team Championships. And those belts will be defended at both SCP and South Plains Championship Wrestling.
Awesome.
And we already have one team that has received a bye through the first round, and that is Logan Knight and Rob Boris, the creators of Dangerous Entertainment, Code. And we also now will have a second bye in that the winner of this match will receive that bye. And it is a 16-team tournament that will start at Collision Course 2024 with the finals happening at Birthiversary.
I'm all in for this too. This is going to be awesome. I'm, of course, in this match, I'm back in Downfall Cathedral. These guys, they're just on a path of destruction, and I'm about it. I'm looking forward to it. I hope they pull it off. No offense to my boys in Island Rage, love them to death, but I'm ready to see Downfall Cathedral come in here and make some noise.
And I will tell you, I know for a fact that at Pieces for Quitters, at least one of the video promos that will play on the wall on the screen during the show will be for a brand new team that is debuting at Collision Course for the tournament. So be on the lookout for that. I can tell you that there are at least 4 teams in the tournament that will be making their SCP debuts in 2024.
Awesome. So we've got teams going into this 16-team tournament that we haven't seen yet.
That's correct.
I can't wait. This is going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Everybody going to have their hands full with Downfall Cathedral. If you can't tell, we're kind of fans.
I like Downfall. I think they're great.
They are. They're ready to fight, and they're in the perfect match for that. Island Rage, Los Crudos, La Migra. It's going to be a fight, and that's what everybody in this match is going to want. And I can't wait to see it. Now, just to kind of cover the rules in that match, one person from each team in the ring. They can only tag their partners. It's not a tornado tag.
That's right. No.
And it's one fall.
One fall. Yep. So it'll be a four-way, either any way you go. It's going to be 4 guys in the ring at all times, and 1 from each team. Team members can tag their partners in and out. First pinfall will gain the bye.
Awesome. Cannot wait to see that one. But of course, that brings us to the match everybody's been talking about. The match that we've been talking about probably the most because it's going to be our very first one, and that is Gauntlet Armageddon. Now, the first thing I want to ask you about in Gauntlet Armageddon, let's talk about Lucas Scratch for a second. His Gallery of the Damned, his ever-growing Gallery of the Damned, is got quite the showing in this match.
4 people, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, we've got Alistair, Poison, both of them debuting. We've also got the Red X, JKM, and Thomas Silva, all of them part of the Gallery of the Damned and in the match.
That's quite a promotional manipulation on the part of Lucas Scratch to get approval for 4 of his charges to be in the same match. It would be hard pressed to argue that he doesn't have a very wide advantage.
Absolutely, and I can't blame the guy. I mean, if I'm a manager and I can get 4, 5, 6 people in one match, absolutely.
Yep.
Before we go any further with the people that are in this match, though, give us a rundown. Give it. You've probably got more experience with the Gauntlet Armageddon than any of us. Give us what a Gauntlet Armageddon is. I've been calling it a Royal Rumble from hell, but
the Gauntlet Armageddon was a concept that I came up with. 2 of my I will just say this right off the bat, and anyone who knows me knows that this is true. I love battle royals, love them, always have since I was a little kid. The very first card that I ever went to on December 17th, 1977, here in Amarillo, Texas, for the Funk Territory, that show had a battle royal on it, and I've been in love with them ever since. And I also really enjoy back in the day when Dusty Rhodes was the booker for Jim Crockett Promotions. He took the concept of a battle royal and he had everybody dress in street clothes and bring weapons, and it became Come As You Are, and they called it the Bunkhouse Stampede. Mm-hmm. And so, that was a nice addition to the traditional battle royal. And then in the late 80s, Pat Patterson's idea in WWF at the time was to basically coin the reverse battle royal that saw you come in on timed intervals until 30 men had entered the ring, and that became the Royal Rumble. And I also love that event growing up. Is one of my favorite events that I look forward to every year. So I thought, you know what, SCP needs something, and I like all that concept. So I crammed it all together, and we have a 30-man over-the-top rope, Come As You Are, weapons legal Royal Rumble. And it's called the Gauntlet Armageddon.
The chaos that's going to be in that ring is going to be top notch. Camino in the chat, what's up, brother? Glad you could make it in. So we've talked about 4 of the people that are in this. You've also got LC Mock. LC Mock's a big old dude. He's got a big boot. If you don't believe that, ask Little Guapo. He could tell you. Little inside joke there. But LC Mock's just athletic as hell. I like his chances in this. You've got certified go-getter Draven Reeves. Of course, the last Maverick of West Texas, Ryan Justice, and it's still to this day, all week long, I've been talking about this match, and it bugs me every time I have to say his name and not say Squared Circle Pro champion Ryan Justice. But
you've got LC Mox, Ryan Justice, and Fuego del Sol were all part of the match that led to this. And so all 3 of them are in Gauntlet Armageddon. They're all going to get an opportunity. You mentioned Draven Reeves. His current tag team partner, Jeb Bingham, will also be involved in this match. The other, Logan Knight and Rob Boris the creators of Dangerous Entertainment, Code. They are also involved in this. We also announced Manolo Dragonfly and Payasito Jr., Los Espectaculares. They're involved in this as well. So you've got 3 tag teams that could potentially be working together, maybe to get down to the final 2, hopefully, and then go for it. Or maybe they're all working for themselves. Who knows?
Maybe
There's a lot of
with Stonewall Remsen and Reggie Lincoln in this one.
Absolutely, the Riot. Yep, Stonewall Remsen and Reggie Lincoln. They are both involved as well. So I mean, there's all kinds of competitors, but even with all those that we just named, look at the rest of the field. 3 guys right off the bat that everyone should be worried about. Nobi Bryant, who won Armageddon, who won Gauntlet Armageddon 2 years ago. Sam Stackhouse.
Had him on the show last night.
Who's throwing him over?
Not
And
this guy.
then Damo. How
Damo
dangerous
McCullough,
is he? You know, I mean, just those 3 alone should give people pause. But here's another one that's involved, and this one is the history behind this person with SCP is important to me, and I love the fact that he's in this, and that is JCTO Bravo, because JC Bravo is one of the founding fathers of SCP. He is a 2-time SCP champion, and he was in the first match ever at SCP. And now he has the opportunity to win his 3rd championship.
And that's the beauty part of this. With all of these people in here, you know, we've talked about the different layers of this, that, you know, you've got no ring awareness because the more people you get in, the lower the ring awareness is. You've got the addition of the weapons, but take all of that, and sitting up above that is the fact that this is for the Squared Circle Pro Championship. So everybody in this is going to be fighting just a little bit harder than maybe before.
Yep. You know, and then there's some wild cards in here too, that people need to take into account. Nathan Estrada is in this match. Cappuccino Jones is in this match. Marquise Jackson is in this match. Tino Valentino is in this match. Gabriel Alexander is in this match. I mean, when you look at the field, Phoenix has been named for this match. When you look at the field of people that are involved right now as we speak, there are 25 names that have been announced of the 30, and there are still 5 to go.
I would suppose you want to throw one of those out there, you know, breaking news kind of thing, do you? I gotta ask.
You know what? I'll give you one.
Everybody listen up. Here we go.
I'll give you one. And I know that he expressed that he wanted in, but he does have a match on the show already. And so I think that his participation here will depend a lot on how his match goes. But I would say if he's able to compete after his match, we have given a spot to Justin Taylor.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
There you have it.
It is contingent on his ability to compete.
Absolutely, because it's going to be a hell of a match that he's in. It's going to be a very physical match that he's in.
Yes.
Looking over the chat, Camino is saying that Jeb could bring it home, and of course, Jeb, you know we're always behind you. You've been a part of our show since we've started, man. We followed you all the way through, and you've got our vote for it. Well, I would love to see you win this match, take that title.
Jeb Bingham is absolutely capable of walking out as the new SCP champion. Looking down the list of everyone that's involved, I mean, I think more than half of the field, if you substituted their name after Squared Circle Pro Champion, comma, one of these guys, I think more than half of this field, you could totally see it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. So, I mean, that's our card right there. This pay-per-view level card, no question about it. And here's the thing, and we've brought this up and tried to drive this home to everybody. $10. $10 at the door, and you get to see all of this. So that's
Yes.
you're not going to find that anywhere else.
And if you can't be in the building live, you can go to www.heckyeahradio.com where the show will be streaming.
And you can see that works well for our boy Jay Rebs. You know, he's out in California doing his thing, and that's how he watched Birthiversary, was on Heck Yeah Radio. So make sure, there's no reason you shouldn't see this match. And if you're in the Lubbock area tomorrow night, there's no reason you shouldn't have your butt in a seat, because this is going to be an outstanding card. It's going to be an outstanding show, and it's going to be something you're not going to forget.
And I do want to throw out just quickly three things that, three little teases that I want to throw out here. If you haven't already made the decision to attend or to watch online, these three, maybe one of these three things will turn the tide. There will be a major announcement made regarding Medusa and her future with Squared Circle Pro.
Okay.
There will also be a major announcement made about a mega event that is coming for 2024 that I am extremely excited about. I've been away from the action now for about 7 months. I have been extremely busy. And the third thing that I will throw out there is there will be a much look forward to return at this event tomorrow. And
See, now
that's all I'm
I got my
saying.
brain running. So there you have it. I mean, there's no reason for you to not be here. $10 at the door. If you can't be here, head over to heckyeahradio.com. Watch it streamed there. It's going to be absolutely insane. Rick, we've still got a couple of minutes left. I want to turn the floor over to you to speak to our listeners, speak to anybody that may be making their way out there.
I just want people to understand that the concept of SCP, my concept that has been around, from the beginning, has been to deliver affordable entertainment that is more than just family entertainment. We have a lot of promotions around the West Texas area that deliver amazing family entertainment. We have BCW, we have South Plains, OSW is coming back at the end of the year. There's a lot of options for family entertainment. The one thing that SCP does that nobody else does is provides a little bit more of an adult flavor to wrestling. And, we're the only ones who run in a bar. We're the only ones who, we stream the show. We have a lot of niches at SCP that set us apart from a lot of the other events. And if you have been longing for wrestling that you loved as a child, this is what we try to do.
No, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. You do a great job of it. For myself, for final thoughts, of course, Rick, thank you for being on the show. Always a pleasure to have you on here. Thank you for putting a show like this together, you and TJ. I mean, this is going to be one for the books. I've been saying it all week, and I can't stress this enough. If you haven't had the opportunity to experience West Texas independent wrestling, come to this show. Pay the $10, put your ass in a seat, and strap in for what's going to be a wild ride, because it's like
a drug. Once you've seen the Gauntlet Armageddon, you're gonna have that itch for the next one. You're gonna be waiting for that next show, and you're gonna be ready to throw that $10 down and see it again. So if you haven't ever been to a show, this is the one to go to. $10 at the door this Saturday night, Jake's Back Room, Lubbock, Texas. It's going to be outstanding, and I hope to see each and every one of you there. Of course, your boys at Not Your Average Mark Wrestling Podcast going to be there. There's no reason you shouldn't be. Again, I want to say thank you to Rick. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody that's been watching, been subscribing, been following. We couldn't do this without all of you. We will see you guys tomorrow night at Squared Circle Pros Pieces for Quitters. Until then, I am Guapo. He's Rick Elsey, and we are not your average marks. Yeah.